I'm Eric Carabell. On the latest fantasy-focused baseball podcast, the awesome Tristan Cockroft and I discuss Kyle Schwarber catching, Jose Peraza playing, Alex Reyes relieving, not really, plus closer carousel and your hash browns.
It's Thompson and Trudell on ESPN LA 710 right now.
All right, look, everybody. The Lakers are going to be fine. Okay, I'm getting texts, I'm getting emails that just what's going to happen, what's going to happen these next couple of years, what's going to happen with free agency, what's going to happen, are they going to trade anybody, who's going to be the number one voice in the team. At least right now you have stability in the coaching staff. You have an excellent coach in Luke Walton who's going to grow with the team. You have a lot of young talent who we are yet to see who is going to emerge in what fashion, but at least there's a lot of talent. You have Magic Johnson now involved, which I think will end up being a net positive, however it works out. You have a lot of things going in this right direction. But, Michael, I feel sort of a collective stress and a collective angst of people wanting to know exactly what's going to happen, when, why, and how with the and while I get that, because so many people in the great city that we live in care so much about this, I still have a general sense of optimism about how all this is going to work out. It may take a little bit of time.
Yeah, I cannot wait for all this stuff to play out, to see how, when all the dust is settled, as they always say, to see who is going to be sitting at the head of the table. I cannot wait for it.
Now, I did have some suggestions on Twitter that
really
you be at the head of the table.
You know, I like that. I would definitely. What are you laughing at?
Because come on. You don't actually. You're not actually going to be in the room at the head of the table.
As the new GM, if they all can't come to an agreement, Jeannie and Jimmy and Johnny and Janie and Jesse and Joyce says, you know what? Let's just settle this and let Michael run everything. Oh, I would say I would be honored.
Would you, or would you say, well, hold on, guys. First of all, I got this radio show, Thompson and Trudell. Yes, it used to be 3 hours, but now it's the power hour, and I like the power hour. I don't have to work a lot. Then I need to go to Dodger games, right? I need to watch my son Trace, who's going to have a big bounce back. Who's going to have a big bounce back. You can't do the job of a GM and also watch baseball every night.
Well, yeah,
you don't have time for that.
Well, yeah, you do because
come on,
because everybody's so mobile these days. Because of the devices we held in our hands now with the tweeting, tweeting so much for texting and the way they can contact everybody now. So it's easy to sit in the Dodger Stadium in my usual section and still conduct Laker business. So if they ask me to do it, I still can. I can multitask. I'm not like you guys who are making an excuse for Kobe and this guy and that guy. He's too busy. He's got too many kids. He can't do this. He can't do that. He'll be distracted. No, I can do it all. That's right. You got like 4 jobs, and you got two young kids. You're doing it.
Well, look, the job of running an NBA franchise and to that level with that many dollars involved. I don't know if you want to be multitasking that job.
It's definitely time-consuming. You got to put your homework in. Mitch Kupchak has done. People, got to remember about Mitch Kupchak. He's been the GM under 5 championships. 5 rings this man has won with his general managership tenure. How many guys in the league can say that? Maybe R.C. Buford. He's the only other one. So Mitch is very accomplished as a general manager. People got to keep remembering that.
That's true. Michael Carbajal tweets in.
Wait a minute. Michael Carbajal. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I know a boxer. I remember a boxer named Michael Carbajal. I wonder if this is him. I wonder if this is the one. Let me know if that's you, Michael Carbajal.
He says, champagne and nuts is in a bad mood because he got toast for dinner again.
No, last night we got lasagna because we were on the plane. I actually got to eat a nice meal last night, Carbajal, because we were traveling.
They didn't have much lasagna left.
Who says I'm in a bad mood? I'm just straightening you guys out about this guy's too delicate to handle 4 jobs. Of course he can do it, especially with Kobe. Kobe sleeps 3 hours a night. He's got like 17 hours the rest of the day to work.
Look, I wouldn't bet against Kobe in most things. So I'm just – the point that I was trying to make about Kobe and the degree to which he'll be involved is I just don't see, based on the conversations we've had with Kobe and asked him about all this stuff, I don't see him – looking at this point of his life for a day-to-day type of role with the team. Now, if he is going to do anything, certainly, with Magic now involved and Magic calling him and asking him for help, I know that Jeannie Buss has already met with Kobe or at least talked to Kobe
about having a role in the team.
I don't know what it was about. Kobe was did an interview in which he said, "Yes, I've talked to Jeannie about things," and I think Jeannie tweeted a picture of her and Kobe saying, "Thank you for taking the time to talk to me about things." So I don't know what the conversation was about, but I do think that Kobe will have some sort of involvement in some sort of role. I would be surprised if that were a day-to-day type of thing, right? Wouldn't you?
If he wanted to, say, come into the office every day as the assistant GM or whatever title he was holding, I guess I'd be like, oh, so Kobe is serious about this. But, like I said... He's not going
to be the assistant GM. Come on.
You mean maybe in a non-title sort of kind of way. You never know, but we don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we don't know. You're right.
We're all just speculating and guessing, and maybe nothing will change when it's all said and done. So who knows?
Yeah, that's true. We have
got to wait and see. We're all just waiting, just like everybody else. Trudell and I don't know any more than any other Laker fan out there.
Yeah, we don't have. Look, we don't have the Lakers front office has been completely understandably mum on this. Other than Magic has been doing some interviews, of course, and Magic has been putting out possibilities of things that might happen, but Jeannie is not speaking on this. I know they all want to meet and figure it all out. It's just that there are obviously lots of questions are going to come in on this because people care so much about what's going to happen, and that's why I started out the show by saying everything's going to work out fine. Everything's going to work out well. All right, last night...
That was an exciting game, huh?
Last night things got real exciting down the stretch, and Funches, let's start with the 25-foot three that Lou Williams hit with 30 seconds left to tie the game after the Lakers had...
How do you know it was 25 feet? Might have been 25 feet, 10 inches. Might have been 26 foot. Might have been 24.9.
This is why people are tweeting in saying, what's wrong with Michael today?
Well, you just said 25 feet like it was a line. He was
because if you look at the play-by-play of the box score, which I know you don't, it lists how far away the shot was.
How do they know?
Because they take an approximation based on it's like if you're standing 2 feet beyond the 3-point line, you can do the math. It's not that hard.
How do you know it's not 2 feet 11?
You list the inches. You list the feet. It's the closest approximation of the feet.
That's how they do it. I always wondered how they did it.
Yes.
I thought maybe they had some kind of a laser pointer or some kind of
hold on.
Kind of GPS.
What time did you wake up today?
7:30.
And you went to bed at what, like 3?
About 2:30.
2:30. Okay, so
got my usual 4 hours is 5 hours of sleep.
Then what are you so cranky about?
I'm not cranky. I'm just pointing out facts that you guys can't seem to just understand.
Did you? I'm serious. Is Clay mocking you on the jump? Is that getting to you?
Not at all. It's just that you guys.
Clay saying that it was your only successful tweet ever. That's upsetting you.
I had a couple other great tweets like.
I agree. You have had some good tweets.
Ric Flair's the greatest wrestler ever. I've said that. I've tweeted The Rock. I asked The Rock if he wanted to work out. He didn't respond. Idiot. I mean, that guy.
What? What did you say?
Nothing. I said that my idol. The Rock.
Oh, I thought I heard idiot, but you said idol.
I never said no idiot ever left my lips. The Rock.
Funches, you didn't hear Michael say that The Rock is an idiot, did you?
No way.
No, I didn't hear that.
He's my idol. I can't believe he didn't want to work out.
Is Jay in there today?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Steve? No?
No.
Houston?
Nope.
Houston? Okay.
I'm here.
Steve, did you hear Michael say that The Rock is an idiot?
I didn't hear anything. I know nothing.
All right, good.
There you go, Steve Schultz.
Let's go ahead and hear. What? Who's that?
Who? Oh, God. You never heard of Sergeant Schultz? Come on. Your dad must have told you about Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing.
Was this somebody from the 60s that I'm supposed to know as if it were
I'm
my
sure
best friend?
if I said the TV show, you'd know what I'm talking about. Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You've never heard of Hogan's Heroes?
When I'm 62, I have to work with a 35-year-old just so I can have the feeling that you have right now. Because if like some Funches, hopefully I'm still around in the business. That Michael will be retired in Clay's mansion, just sit with his feet up, and we'll call him once in a while.
Somebody said ask you
and stuff, and then I'll ask them, hey, you remember Beverly Hills 90210, right?
Yeah.
And the kid will be like, huh?
Or you'll ask the kid
what? And I'll say, hey,
you'll ask the kid, have you ever heard of Martin Family? And the kid will go, huh?
Right, yeah, it'll be something like that.
Yeah.
And it will seem weird to me.
Come on, folks.
It will
you think this guy's
but
never heard of Hogan's
But then
Heroes?
I'll remember that this person was not born when that show was on.
Well, okay, Funches, how old are you?
36.
Have you ever heard of Hogan's Heroes?
I've heard of it, but I don't know the premise about it or anything.
You never heard of Sergeant Schultz?
Never heard
nothing.
of Sergeant Schultz. Never heard of him.
Do you want to devote another minute or two of our 60 to this real quick?
This was the 70s. It wasn't the 60s.
No, I'm saying of our 60 minutes on the show. Do you want to devote another couple minutes to discussing this?
I can't believe how clueless people like you and Funches are about some iconic American TV shows.
It's like how clueless you are today about modern hip-hop. It's the same thing.
Listen, I know all the songs, but just that all the guys don't go by their names anymore. Everybody's D this or A this or S that. Everybody's go by acronyms. I can't figure out which one is which. You know,
man, he's the big guy's coming out firing today.
Yeah.
All right.
I grew up with the Sugar Hill Gang. Who else was Curtis Blow, Cool Mo D. You used to know about the names, but now everybody's Chance this.
Cool.
Somebody is D-Lo that. You can't figure it out.
Cool Mo D. How is that different from?
That's the whole
Chance
name.
The Rapper?
LL Cool J. That's the whole name. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, you
Bell
are
Biv DeVoe.
You
heard
are
of that,
on
right?
one today. Sure. Fudges, let's hear from Lou Williams making that 25-foot three-pointer before Michael.
I thought it was 24-4. Get a stop.
Lou Williams, three-pointer, good for the tie. He locked up Collison on a crossover move. Collison hit the deck, and Lou buried a three. Williams has 29, 96-96.
Good call from Ireland there. What actually happened, and I sit down next to the court. Michael and John are up in the middle, and they have a better sort of overall view of what happens on the court in terms of like where players are moving to and who has the ball when. But I can see some of the little details from my spot. And Lou actually stepped on Collison's foot, so Collison got tripped up that way and literally fell down. It allowed Lou to step back and hit that three. He had 19 points in the fourth quarter. However, after DeMarcus Cousins hit one of two free throws, and he was just a beast. I mean, they couldn't do anything with him, and understandably so. It was Larry Nance Jr. that was trying to battle him down the stretch. So DMC hits one of two free throws, and Michael, get your thoughts in a sec. We'll play this, and this is what happened in transition on the ensuing play.
Here's the second free throw. Let's cross that bridge first. You're right, he missed it. Ball on the floor. Ingram had it. Give it to Lou Williams. No timeout. 4 seconds left. 3, 2, Lou for the win. No good, and the Kings win 97-96. Lou Williams, who was spectacular in the fourth quarter, had a three-pointer to win the game, and it fell short.
All right. First of all, so you called him missing that second free throw, sounds like?
Yeah, I said he's going to miss one of these before he shot him, but because he was struggling from the line all night. He was 12 of 19 from the line. But when the ball got fumbled around, and because when he shot the free throws, it was 9.2 seconds left or something like that. So you had time to get up the court quickly, but not in such a rush where you're out of control.
9.0 seconds, right? Yeah.
But once they fumbled the ball and went into the corner, it was 5 seconds left. Also, I would have said, timeout. Let's advance the ball from half court, inbounding the ball, and you got a lot more time, and you could be more composed and getting the ball to Lou Williams, who was extremely hot, and getting the shot. That's what I would have done once the ball was fumbled. But in that chaotic scramble for the ball, nobody was, I guess, looking at Luke, and Luke just said, okay, let's let it flow through. But DeMarcus Cousins, I respect him. I love him. I love the way he plays. His talent, I respect his talent. But the way he plays, even as good a defender as I was, I couldn't guard it because the referees just let him bull his way through your defense. He puts his shoulder down and just runs over you like he was doing to Tariq Black last night. And Tariq, you can't, if you're going to let a big, strong guy just run over you, a Shaq just run over you, there's no way you can defend him, and he's going to keep going to the line. It's not fair.
Okay.
And he knows he can do it, so that's what he does. He turns, looks at you, and just runs into you, creates contact, and finishes around the hoop. There's no way you can defend him.
That is basically how Shaq played, right? Did you say that?
But Shaq was even more subtle with it because he didn't start from so far out. DeMarcus starts from up by the three-point line, puts the ball on the floor, just balls into you, pushes you out of the way, and then lays it up. I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Well, he's like any NBA player. He's playing to his strengths. Isn't that just smart?
But I think the referees are giving him a leeway of committing offensive fouls and letting him get away with it. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting. Because if you asked him about it, he'd probably say, they never give me any calls, blah, blah, blah. So it's all a matter of perspective. That's interesting. I mean, he definitely – look, I hear what you're saying because it is difficult for the defender, but that's what you have to – what you really have to do is move your feet. And
but they are moving their feet.
I know, but so it makes me think of what I hate to see, and no offense to this guy because I everybody that has ever met him says how great he is. I didn't love the Vlade flop, okay? Yeah. It was a big part of his game. That's kind of one of the antidotes that you need to do if Cousins is bowling like that to sort of try to get the ref to call it and then to have Cousins stop sort of playing like that. But that's a whole nother discussion. What I want to get to quickly, a couple of tweets, Michael. DV, Derek Villar says, give Michael a glass of wine. He think so.
Not this time of the day.
Well, he thinks that might calm you down a little bit.
I'm not calmed down. I'm fired up.
However, I disagree because, and I agree with some of the other folks, like M. Knight Masalungun says, Champagne and Nuts is even more hilarious and entertaining on today's show. Definitely going to listen to this show after it ends again. Or listen to it after it ends. So I agree. Then let's see. Ya Groove says, I love when Champagne and Nuts is feisty. He sounds like the get off my lawn guy.
Exactly. Guy's making excuses about this guy and that guy can't do it. I don't want to hear that. You know how many people out there working 60 hours a week?
And then Mike B doesn't understand your hip-hop argument that today's hip-hop artists have, different abbreviated names.
Yeah.
Think about some of the old folks, like, how about Run DMC, Gangstar, Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, KRS-One.
There you go.
These are none of they're where do you think the current folks and people and artists on both sides, men and women in hip hop, got the whole name thing? It came from all the folks like that.
Rappers of today have seemed to really shorten it down to a couple of letters.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's why I can't. Now I hear, because I listen to Shade 45. I listen to all the stuff on
Sirius.
Sirius. I listen to all that stuff when I'm driving down to Orange County. Yeah. So I hear all the songs. I recognize the songs. I just don't remember the names. Who did what? Who sang what? And all that stuff. Yeah. But I like all the tunes.
All right. And then, by the way, my father.
Yeah, Dave Trudell has responded.
He has texted.
Good.
He says, so first of all, Robert Crane was Hogan.
There you go.
Then he says, produced by Bing Crosby. That's interesting.
See?
However, he added, my father, so my dad's dad, was a World War II veteran. He said he did not like the show.
Why?
He felt prison camps were no joke.
Well, that's true.
And he thought Nazis weren't funny.
Well, that's of course.
But again, look, he was in World War II, so I could get why. And I haven't seen the show, but I presume that it's about a prison camp.
Yeah. Prisoners of war in a German camp.
Okay.
I can't believe you're asking me this. How do you not know this?
Because it was on in 1960 something, and my grandfather didn't want to watch it. So that's how. I was born in 1981, man. I mean, what do you want from me? What do you want for you? Ask you're
have
always
you ever
trying
heard
to
of Sanford and Son?
You're always trying to stump me. I have heard of that one.
Well, that's the same
they have
time
reruns
this was
on
on
all the time. They have reruns of Sanford and Son all the time.
So Hogan Sirius is on all the time.
You expect me to be an expert in basically everything. You try to quiz me on everything that's going on today.
Read.
In multiple
you know
sports,
about American
in history. And all, you quiz me on all this stuff, and then if I don't know one TV show from 1960, you raise hell.
You ever heard of Bing Crosby?
I have heard of Bing Crosby.
How do you know? He's an American icon. How do you know about that and not these other things? Yeah.
Man, somebody's got to help me out here. All right. Funches has been telling me that Magic Johnson will be on Stephen A's show at 11. Ooh. Funches, this is, by the way, not your doing or fault. Wouldn't you think that Magic would want to come on with his Showtime Lakers teammate, Michael Thompson?
I would think so. Instead of have Stephen A. scream at him all the time.
Now, Stephen A. is on nationally, so in that way, Magic can sort of kill more birds. But I would have thought, Michael, that you would have texted your buddy. I know you have Magic in your cell phone, right?
I think I have his number. I think I've got Magic.
Just say it on the air.
I've got his assistant's number.
Just kidding. Don't say it.
I've got his right-hand man, Lon Rosen's number.
Oh, yeah, you have Lon's here. You're always talking to Lon.
So I guess, if I see Magic in New Orleans this weekend, and I'm sure he'll be there, I'm going to go up to him and say, you definitely got to come on our show next week when we get back from the All-Star break. So I'll definitely try to book him to come on our show.
We'll see. Because maybe the Lakers may want to wait until they have some more meetings about what's going on.
Okay.
Before, but I don't know. But
and if we do get him on the show, what are you going to ask him? What's the first question you're going to ask him? What's burning in your?
Well, look, I mean, honestly, to me, Magic spent an hour on Spectrum Sportsnet, and they asked him, 50 questions.
With Worthy and those guys?
Worthy and Geeter and Bresnahan and everybody, and so I don't think there's anything else that Magic can say right now that he hasn't already said.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to wait until we sort of figure out what's actually going to happen moving forward. But, all right,
I know what I want to ask him.
What do you want to ask him, MT?
What are you going to do about your outfield situation?
Yeah. That's a good question.
That's what I want to know. Because they got like 10 outfielders.
How's Trace is back, by the way?
He will be ready during spring training. I don't know if he'll be ready on opening day of spring training, but I hear he'll be at spring training and he'll play some games. I know when we come back here on March 8th, we got a day off here in Phoenix, and I'll go out to Glendale and watch him play a game out there that day. So that'll be nice.
Yasiel Puig was courtside.
Yeah. Oh boy, he looks good. Looks like he's in shape and ready to go.
Who's stronger, him or Trace?
That's a good question.
Trace is a big boy.
Trace is strong. He's strong. That's a very good question.
Puig's got some muscles.
Yeah, Puig he's a beast. He's a bull too. I don't know, but I think those two.
Who's faster?
That's another good question.
Yeah.
Trace could run, but I'll have to ask. I never asked Trace that, but that's a good one. But I think those two. I think Trace and Puig are the two strongest guys on the Dodgers, from what I've seen. Physically strongest.
Yeah, you said growing up, Trace was always an ox
bull.
like
I
that,
thought
right?
I thought he was going to be 6'8", 305, built like Tyron Smith from the
be like a left
Cowboys.
tackle or
Left
something?
tackle. I thought he was going to be a left tackle.
I mean, even though, but he moved his feet so well.
Yeah, that's why I thought he'd be a perfect left tackle
Oh, okay.
when he was a little kid growing up, and he played football and youth football. And he was always too heavy to carry the ball because there was a weight limit. So he always had him as a center or offensive lineman
no kidding.
or D lineman or
So you would just have
linebacker.
to, push people around. They wouldn't let him have the ball.
He was the biggest kid on defense, but he was so fast for his size that he was like a Von Miller type, a stand-up linebacker, Jadeveon Clowney type.
No kidding.
And youth football. That was fun watching that stuff.
Yeah, all right, that is interesting. All right, so Michael, let's do a little reset here. We are in Phoenix today. We've been in a lot of hotels lately, man. Mm-hmm. This is the 6th hotel in the last 2 weeks. It's a different hotel from the one we usually stay in.
This hotel's actually
it's all right.
It's not the usual glitzy, glamorous luxury hotel, but I like this hotel. I mean, it's okay.
It's nice.
It's close.
It's
It's right across the street from the arena. Downstairs is a little cafe that serves great food. They got a health club across the hallway over down there if you want to go work out. But it's all right. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like we've stayed at this one hotel, and I won't say what it's called, but for years here. But I think they're doing a remodel or something this year. So hopefully we'll be back there because you can go across the street and they've got this nice little mall that I like to walk over to.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's determine if this is dumb or smart by me. It's a choice that I'm going to make today. So, you know that my parents are from. So my mom is from Buffalo, New York. My dad is from actually Massachusetts, but spent some time in Buffalo, New York, etc. And that's where they lived. That's where I was born. Right before I moved to Minnesota when I was 1. So they have this chain there called Ted's Hot Dogs, and it is fantastic.
Why are they so good?
They use this special kind of meat that you can't get everywhere, and they import it. And they use that, and then they grill it in a certain way.
They're sort of like what do you call them? What do you call those nice thick hot dogs?
Brats?
Yeah, bratwursts.
No, they're not like brat. I mean, they have brats there, I think, but it's just a thin hot dog, which is the meat is a little bit like lighter in color, in pink, and
what do you put on your
charbroil it.
What do you put on your hot dog?
Okay, so I generally just ketchup, but in this case, sometimes
ketchup.
Yeah, and sometimes I won't put a lot. Like I like jalapenos on almost everything now, so sometimes I'll grab a jalapeno. But the taste of the meat is so good and succulent that I don't like to distract with much, whether it's ketchup or something else. So I put a little bit of ketchup, but I really just like to savor the actual taste of the meat with this specific hot dog.
Where do you get that?
It's a place called Ted's,
in
and
Buffalo?
they have a chain of them only in Buffalo, New York.
Only in Buffalo.
However, there is one Ted's Hot Dogs in Tempe, which is about 18 miles from here.
Oh, wow.
There's just one because I think the owner, retired here or something.
Yeah.
And so they built one.
Don't tell me you're thinking about going
ASU students do it. Well, okay, last year I had a delivery service, and this is not a paid sponsor, but I think I used Postmates, and I had them deliver it to the hotel. Now, it was expensive. I want to say it probably cost like $25 or something.
Right.
The meal, the hot dog and the fries in itself only cost, $10, whatever.
Were they hot by the time they got here?
No. Obviously not. I mean, they can't keep it. It's not like Postmates has this. But they just put it in the car. It's not like they have a oven or a warmer. But I didn't care. It still tasted great, and I was happy to have it. But I'm thinking about taking an Uber there, which wouldn't give me a lot of time, to work out and get back to the hotel. But what do you think? Since it harkens back all these great childhood memories, and I love it so much. So I'm likely either going to have it delivered again and just pay the premium, or take an Uber, which is kind of far again, 18 miles, and then have to come back.
18 miles. I've been out to Tempe. It is a long drive, a long haul. But if your taste buds are screaming for it, and if you don't mind putting in the time, and it's worth it to you to go out there and get it, I guess I would do it if I didn't mind wasting the time like you're going to do it. Sure, go ahead and treat yourself, spoil yourself for one day.
But you think because it will taste better hot there?
Oh, yeah.
You think it's worth that as opposed to getting it delivered again?
Go out there and order it, sit down, relax, take an hour just to be there, just to savor the taste and the flavor, just to breathe, like Chris Jericho says, breathe it in, man.
Man, I do. It just makes just thinking about it makes me happy. All right, that's a decision that I'll have to make. It's Thompson and Trudell. It's an hour commercial-free right now. Remember, again, Magic's going to be coming up on the show after us on Stephen A. Smith before Mason and Ireland start. And, by the way, I wanted to say this about John Ireland. John lost his father over the weekend, and I just wanted to, if you hadn't heard about that yet, wanted to share that. John is one of the best guys that you'll know, more responsible for giving me opportunities in my young career than anybody. Has always been willing to help with anything. Has been fantastic. I'm very biased and pro John Ireland in all things. Had the opportunity to meet his father several times. We went over there for Thanksgiving dinner. His father, Michael, held my two sons when they were babies, and they loved him. It was a really cute thing. I have a great photo, in fact, of Jet sitting on John's father's lap. I know you recently lost not just your wife's father, and you just went to those the funeral procession, of course, last week. That's why you weren't with us. But also your own father, and so I'm sure that this hit you as well. And our good thoughts are certainly with John, his wife Lisa, his mom Myrna, his son Jack, and the entire Ireland clan. Yeah,
definitely. John's father was cool. I met him at the golf club that he golfed at down there in Newport Beach, and he was from Ireland, never lost that Irish accent, even though he came over here as a very young man. And every time you talked to him, he felt like ordering a box of Lucky Charms.
Yeah, he was from Northern Ireland, in fact, and I forced him to tell me a couple stories about growing up there when we were over there for Thanksgiving. So anyway, thoughts are with Ireland and his family. John is here on the trip with us. I would imagine he's doing his show today. Right?
I think he is. He might have to duck out early because maybe because of the bus time we had to leave today. What time is the bus's time today? We haven't gotten them yet, huh?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's probably like 4:30. I mean, it's right across the street. Yeah. So that saves us some time. All right. So that the Lakers and the Suns will be coming up tonight, Michael. And here's what I want to ask you about the Lakers and the Suns. Okay. So we all can, at this point of the season, we all can take a look at the standings, and
we all do.
And we all do. And for a while, at the start of the season, the way that the Lakers started, right, 10-10 and playing well and sharing the ball before they started to get the couple injuries that seemed to throw a wrench in things, and now we are where we are. It did not look like we were going to have to be watching games, and certain Lakers fans were going to have to be thinking about the inverse standings, which is what we've had to do the last couple of years because the Lakers pick is top 3 protected. If you don't know what this means, and I know most Lakers fans certainly do, but since the pick is top 3 protected, that means if the Lakers pick falls outside of the top 3, it would go to Philadelphia. That's because of the Steve Nash trade and a later trade in which the Suns made a deal with the Sixers, and the Sixers acquired that pick from the Suns. So, Brooklyn is the worst team in the league, Michael, by a lot. They have 10 fewer wins than the Lakers at 9. The Lakers have 19. The only team in between them is the Phoenix Suns. They have won only 17 games. They've won 2 out of their last 10 and lost 2 in a row. And basically they stink. Okay? So if you think about how the Lakers have a chance to keep this pick, if they are in the position they're in right now, it is not the best. They don't have a great chance. In fact, it's in the high 40s because any team could jump over them and in the lottery, when the lottery is drawn, and bump them out of the chance to not only keep their pick this year, as they did the last 2 years, by the way. The Lakers got fortunate just to keep the pick and get Brandon Ingram and D'Angelo Russell. But I'm Michael, stop me if this is boring you, if I'm getting too into the nitty gritty here.
No,
but
it's not. It's
okay,
fine.
but Phoenix, Phoenix will keep their pick regardless of what happens. So it doesn't matter as much to them if if they finish with the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth worst record. They're still going to get a high lottery pick in what seems like a deep draft. So if the Lakers are to have a better chance of keeping their pick, they would have to finish with the second worst record in the league. That would give them a 56% chance to keep their pick, the same basically as what happened last year. So, Michael, clearly this is not how the players or Luke Walton can think about things. Luke has to do his job, get his young players playing, develop them, but get them playing and trying to establish a winning culture and get them trying to win. Now, what the question is then, how much thinking, if at all, does the front office have to do about something like this when considering not just the Lakers keeping their pick this year, but if they keep it, then the pick that they owe Orlando would turn into 2 second-round picks instead of another first-round pick that they would owe into the future. So, and even if you want to take the front office thought out of it, because we don't know that, fans that are watching games like this and thinking, man, gosh, it'd be nice to get that asset. But at the same time, it's tough to root for your team to lose games. How do you think about that in a game like tonight against Phoenix, which, realistically could have an impact on who finishes where when the season is over?
If I was not working for the Lakers, if I was still in Portland, Oregon, when I was up there, I was a huge Laker fan and always pulled for the Lakers and wanted them to win championships and was hoping they'd be successful. If I was still up there doing what I was doing, just working on the radio and living my life in Portland and following the Lakers from afar and had no affiliation with the Lakers professionally, and I was just watching the games as a fan, I can honestly say, knowing the situation that the Lakers are in, I would be pulling for them to lose every game because I would say they're not going to make the playoffs. So I want them to, this is from the outside looking in as a fan, I hope they lose because I want them to get that first, second, or third pick to continue building for the future. That's how I would be looking at it if I was on the outside looking in. That would not make me any less of a Laker fan because I'm hoping that they don't win any more games because of that. I'll be saying I hope that. I hope they hold on to their first-round pick is what I'd be rooting for. Maybe that's a more delicate way of saying it. But as an employee of the Lakers, and I'm around the guys, I'm pulling for them to win. So it's a weird way to handle it. But since I'm around the guys and I see how hard they're trying to work and how bad they want to win, I want them to win tonight. And I want them to win as many games as possible, even if it costs them the third pick, second pick, or first pick in the draft. But like I said, from the outside looking in, had nothing to do with being around them. I'd be hoping that they hang on to their pick to draft that up-and-coming star. Yeah,
and I understand both those perspectives too, because it's fair to look at it in both of those ways, because what ultimately what fans want is for the team to have the best chance to win a title as soon as they can.
Of course.
And so, to do that, a couple of things are important. One, the development of the young players. And this is why, the number of minutes that each guy gets. And last night it ended up being Russell and Randall that didn't play a ton because they didn't go back in the fourth quarter because Luke was riding the group that was playing well, which was Nance, Williams, Clarkson, Ingram, and then he brought Mozgov back in to try and deal in the final couple minutes at least to try and deal with DeMarcus Cousins as that's a tougher task for Julius Randle. He's just so freaking big, right? That you need some bulk there. So that's the difficulty moving forward is that you want minutes for the young guys so that they can develop together, but you also want to keep things real in the locker room by playing the guys that deserve to be playing in that game.
Yep.
And so it really is, I think, a difficult task to accomplish both of those things.
Yeah. Now, if the Lakers are like Denver, the 8th seed, 21 and whatever, and they say, "Oh, please keep winning because I want to make the playoffs." Well, you don't have a chance to beat the Warriors, so why you want to be? Who cares? Just want to get into the playoffs. That's the position I would be in. Yeah,
that makes sense. But look, Luke Walton is also playing. He's playing all of the young guys at least some extended minutes. Zubats has been over 20 minutes several times of late. Russell has usually been over 30 minutes.
This is going to pay off in the
Ingram's
future.
been around 30 minutes. Randall's usually around in the high 20s, low 30s. Nance Jr. is getting more minutes. He played 24 minutes the other day. Clarkson played 28 minutes. So it's not like he's not playing guys. The only veterans that are playing extended time, Luol Deng played 20 minutes off the bench. Lou Williams played 24 minutes off the bench. So it's not like Luke is just playing veterans and not giving the young guys any minutes, right? And that's I think that could shift even more when we get back from the All-Star break. And then it's like, okay, because it gives you a clean break, like to reset, to think about, okay, what lineups do we really want to use? Where do we want to see Zubats? Should we start him and see how he plays next to Julius for a couple games? Should Tariq Black and Larry Nance Jr. be the bench combination as opposed to Zubats and Larry Nance Jr.? These are questions that Luke can ask in the combinations that he can use, particularly when they get back from the break, and we'll see how that all works out. In the meantime, Funches, if you will, let's go ahead and play and hear from Luke after the game about getting young guys experience. He was asked about this question sort of in terms of minutes, and I would like to hear his reaction. It's the clip on knowing when to play the young players to get experience.
With the team that we have, it's guys that obviously we're going to try to get minutes for, experience minutes for these young guys, but we were down 16, and that group kind of fought back and got us a chance to win the game. So at that moment, it wasn't that I thought this group or that group had a better chance, but it was rewarding the players that started playing together and bringing that energy and attacking on defense and making plays. Is the reason we left them in. And actually Luol was playing, I thought was doing a good job for us in that group too, but I wanted Brandon to get those those final 3 minutes of a close game type of thing. So I didn't pull the trigger on all of it, but with Brandon we put him in there for experience purposes.
I see. That's exactly it right there even. So Luke wants to do right by the locker room by playing the guys that deserve to play by playing hard. And I like that. I think that's good. Like at the same time, certain players, and Ingram is obviously the one in this case, are going back in, period.
Yeah, he's the future of the Lakers. They got to put him out there.
And I get that, but then somebody might say, okay, well, what about D'Angelo Russell then? Well, the issue in putting Russell back in, who hadn't played great that night, although he was a little better in the third quarter than he was in the first half, is that Lou Williams was literally like making consecutive shots. And so that
could you have put him in for Jordan Clarkson?
You could have,
Nick
but
Young was also in the game.
Young wasn't in the game much down this. He was in for a couple possessions down the stretch, but he wasn't in to close it. For example, he was in for a couple of. I guess the answer is that you could have put him in for Clarkson, but Clarkson is still a young developing player too. Mm-hmm. And he was the one who was playing, pretty good defense and engaging defensively along with Nance. So that's where I totally get it, and I don't blame Luke for it. And I think that what Luke wants to do tonight, maybe he's going to make sure to get Russell 30 minutes no matter what.
And to Russell's credit, he understands that. He was up cheering and yelling for the guys. He understands that his time's going to come. Maybe it'll come tonight against Booker and Bledsoe.
Yeah, you know what? I think tonight is an interesting case for that because Booker. He and D'Angelo are good friends. They're in that same draft class, of course. Booker was taken a little bit later in the lottery, and I think if you redrafted it, he would be taken a lot sooner. In fact, he might be taken number 4. So you got to go Towns, Porzingis in whatever order, and then I think Booker, Russell, in whatever order and whatever type of guard you're looking for.
Are you going to talk to Russell tonight?
I probably will. I don't know if I'll
ask him a question for me. Didn't he go to school with Ben Simmons at Mont
he did.
Academy? Well, you ask him when Simmons is going to play because they text each other and keep in touch.
Yeah, no, after the All-Star break.
Oh, after he is coming back.
That's the plan. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Good.
I'll follow up with Russell, but that's the Sixers have said that they think he's going to come back.
I bet you if anybody around us knows when Simmons is going to play, it's Russell. Because they talk.
Not only did Russell play with Simmons in high school, he also played with Joel Embiid.
How did they lose?
In related news, they did not lose often.
Oh. Often? They should have never lost.
Yeah, I don't think they lost much when all three were playing. The interesting thing, he said when Russell was there, Simmons was ridiculous. He was a stud right away. Embiid was still figuring it out a little bit. Yeah. And he was still growing into his body and all that. So it wasn't like he didn't look exactly like Embiid looks now. Yeah. Even when he was at Kansas, Embiid he had some moments of brilliance, but it wasn't like he completely dominated the college scene and was averaging 30, 20, and 10, right, which is what I think he would average if you dropped him in to Kansas now. So that's partly what happens with big men and stuff. Okay, how about this is another question. A lot of people have been asking about Lou Williams and the trade deadline. Yeah. And completely understandably so, because Lou is an asset that teams that are contending are going to want. They're going to be interested in him. And I don't know. There are various reports about calls that about whether or not teams are inquiring about Lou. Of course, the Lakers front office does not comment on things like that. But Lou Williams was asked about trade rumors, and here's what he had to say. Michael Funches.
Your name was floated in some trade rumors today. How much does that affect you? Just go out and hoop. Let the powers that be deal with that.
Just go out and hoop. Let the powers that be deal with that.
Every player says that.
That's what he says.
I don't even know why people ask players that question.
Yeah, well,
it's not in my control. Yes. I have to take care of my business and whatever happens.
Sometimes players will answer it candidly.
Like what? The trade rumors are really bothering me, and I hate it. I've never heard a player say that.
No, it's not so much that. It's like when you ask Melo about it, though. I mean, he's been asked so much about it that he's been really good about not saying too much, but he'll give you some stuff about it. Okay, so Lou is that was courtesy of Spectrum Sportsnet, by the way. I want to add, as was the earlier sound from Luke Walton. Michael, what's the right way of asking you about this? Is it as simple as if you are a front office, you have to consider every situation and think about whether or not it makes you better in the long term. If you get something that you feel like does and gives you a chance to get an asset, you pull the trigger. If you don't feel like it's good enough, then you don't. Is that the short answer to it?
Of course. That's it. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Just don't overthink things. Will this guy come in here and help us get to the next level and be a good locker room guy? Simple as that. That's the way the Spurs conduct business, and the Warriors and all the winners do it that way.
The trade deadline, I believe, is a week from
23rd,
tomorrow.
February 23rd.
Yeah, it's a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to get to this before we run out of showtime. Your son, who we've never had on Thompson and Trudell, by the way.
I don't know. Well, time we're on, he's still sleeping.
Klay Thompson's never been on Thompson and Trudell. Was on the jump with Rachel Nichols.
Oh, yeah.
My fellow Northwestern alum. And Funches, I believe we have some audio from Klay on the jump.
That was pretty funny. That might have been the only good tweet he's ever had, though. But that was pretty good.
Obviously, he's never seen all of my WWE tweets as I'm watching Raw.
That was Klay tweeting about talking about the tweet that you sent at Kevin Durant, which got all the OKC trolls up your case. I mean, get off his back, guys. You were good about never really tweeting. Actually, well, I know why. You didn't tweet during the finals because you didn't have Twitter yet.
That's right, yeah.
So if the Warriors are playing the Cavs, I wonder to what degree the Cavs fans are going to hate you because you're not going to be able to help yourself.
I lay low. I'm too nervous.
Got it. Okay, so actually, you know what? I take it back. You do not want to be a distraction in something like the finals.
Oh, no.
So what you don't want to have happen is for Klay to get questions about, oh, Dad tweeted this about the Cavs. It's fine now during the regular season, like whatever.
Like I'm going to say something about LeBron and get him mad.
Exactly.
No.
So, right. So well, that's the question. I trust that you are not going to want to do that because you respect your son's space.
Yeah, and I don't want to tick LeBron off.
And you, but come on, it wouldn't be, you say that now. But come on, let's say so you're watching a game, right? And the Warriors blow a lead at home, and let's say the refs blow a call, and LeBron tramples over Klay. Should have been an offensive foul. They let him bull his way to the hoop.
Well, wait a minute, that happens every game. What are you talking about? That happens every game. LeBron bulling over somebody to get to the hoop. No call. Or the call goes in his favor. Are you kidding me? Ask Andre Iguodala about that.
Okay. Granted. With that said, are you telling me that you're going to be able to stay off your phone? It's going to be right there in front of you. Just like Trump. President Trump might think, you know what, I probably shouldn't tweet this, but he can't help himself.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you're going to be able to help yourself when LeBron enrages you? To just grab your phone and let it and share your thoughts with the people?
When the Warriors are in the finals and they're losing like they did last year, games 4, 5, 6, and 7, I'm too depressed. I can't. I don't even look at my phone. I'm sitting there going, I can't believe this is happening. I'm just pacing back in the family room.
Sucking your
thumb.
All
that cold Modelo beer is right there for me to drink. I can't even drink it because I'm too nervous. The only time I can eat is when they're up by 15 points with 3 minutes to go, and I say, okay, they got it in hand now, I can eat.
Are you sucking your thumb?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, when people aren't looking.
Jeez.
Oh, it's bad, Trudell. I'm telling you, it really is bad. My wife tells me I need therapy. Keyshawn Johnson told me he's the same way. When watching his son play, he stands by the end zone. He don't want to talk to nobody. He's just into the game. He's just pacing back and forth because you want your son to win and play so well. You'll go through it when Jet and Taylor are out there.
I will 100%. Look, I get nervous when they're in a freaking bouncy house in which you almost can't hurt yourself.
Well, they're just playing. That's no pressure on that. They're just playing.
No, that's what I'm telling you is that it makes me nervous that they're going to get hurt or something.
Well,
so and they're not even doing anything.
No, it's not that so much because obviously everybody wants their child to be safe. Once the game starts, you're not worrying about. Well, I should say you're not worried.
Look, I know
you're worried about how they're performing and if they're going to win.
Yes, I get that, and because you want them to feel happiness,
right?
And you don't want them to go through pain.
It is the worst.
And because you know your sons, you know that if Klay lost in that finals, he was going to be devastated.
Yeah.
And it was going to, it was. Now I don't know which of Trace might take losing differently from Klay, but would that influence how much you let me put it this way. Let's say that if Klay handles losses like that better than Trace, are you any less worried than you would be for Klay than for Trace, or is it the same?
No, they're all the same. It kills them. Like everybody. We all hate to lose. None of us out there say, losing's okay, we can be fine. We all hate to lose, and my boys aren't any different from anybody else.
I don't think that's true. Some people are
okay with losing?
Yeah, those are the people that don't win as much usually. The people that truly hate to lose and then make it to the level of your sons, I would say you're right. I think most players that get to that level do. But not everybody cares that much about winning and losing.
And I'm not just talking about in sports. I'm talking about in life, in our careers. Let's say
that's what I'm telling you.
You have a job and you didn't do your job well.
Some people care more than others about that.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Some people don't have as much sort of personal pride about it. Or in some cases, some people just have a maybe it's even a healthy perspective on life.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They are healthier than me.
Yeah.
You're right about that. I admit it. My wife tells me I need to calm down and stuff when they lose or stuff like that. But it just I don't know what's wrong with me, because I understand that people out there have way worse troubles that they really need to be depressed about when it comes to ailments and illness and all that stuff. But when my boys lose a game, it just ruins my whole day. I shouldn't be that way. I know I do have problems. So, and in the playoffs, it makes it even worse. I
hear you.
It multiplies it 1,000-fold.
Yeah, and it's been difficult to not have the Lakers have those moments, these last couple of years, because they're so used to it, and so that's of course why everybody's trying to figure out what's going to happen.
People always go, "Man, aren't you enjoying this? Isn't this fun?" And it's weird. During the journey, it should be fun, but I'm so tense and so nervous about it. It doesn't seem like fun until they win, and then it starts all over again in the next round. After they beat up on the Denver Nuggets, their first round opponent. The second round opponent, it looks like it's going to be the Jazz or maybe the Clippers. It'll start all over again. It's just misery.
You know what else I think impacts it for you? You won titles, so you know what it feels like to get there. And I almost think that once you've won, it's harder to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you know what you're missing.
It is the best feeling you can have in your professional life. Nothing compares to your personal life and your best feelings, like when your child is born, when you fall in love with your partner.
Sure.
That's the best feelings you can have in your life. But when it comes to professional, your job, there's nothing better than being successful at your job. That's the greatest feeling.
But my point is right, isn't it? Once you've won, because if you haven't won yet, like, it stinks, but it's still, you don't know exactly what you're missing.
Like,
and once you get that feeling, and then you experience
that,
you
lose that chance to be the best again. That feeling that misery never leaves you.
Kobe, I guarantee, Kobe has never been more miserable than when they got spanked by the Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
And because he had won, he grew up in basketball and he won. He won 3 times. And
why do you think he played so bad in Game 7? That meant so much to him. To beat the Celtics in Game 7, he could barely shoot the ball.
Yeah,
he wanted it too bad.
That's true, but nobody in that game could shoot the ball. On either team.
Yeah.
Because there was so much, and it wasn't just the pressure, it was the freaking defense was so intense.
Yeah.
On both ends of the court. Every shot was contested.
I think Kobe was
Every shot there was a foul on.
I think Kobe was 6 for 24 in that game, and you could see he was pressing. And I was like, wow, Kobe, he wants it too much. You could tell he just couldn't relax.
Well, but what happened, though? The reason that they won, I think.
Meta.
Well, no. It was because of Kobe's will. And Kobe's, I think he had 15 or 16 rebounds.
Yeah, he was doing everything else.
It was that was the thing. He was like, look, okay, even though I'm not making shots, we are not losing this game.
Right. Yeah.
And and I always, whenever I think about Kobe, and sometimes if I hear criticisms, and there's I was there, and I remember every day of that season, of both those seasons, the back-to-back titles, every single day, Kobe had this attitude, and he refused to let any of his teammates believe otherwise. We are freaking winning. Period.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you slip. I am not letting myself slip. I'm not letting the coaching staff. Nobody. This is not allowed. It was a demand, basically, and that was the driving force of the team.
And he knew to win it, he was going to have to go through Garnett and Boston again.
Of course, yeah,
because they were coming out of the East. They were the LeBron of the East back then.
All right, Michael, this is the Thompson and Trudell show. It is an hour commercial-free, so hopefully you enjoy that part of it. You can just turn us on and stay and keep it on for the hour, and you listen to it the whole way through. You can always download the podcast on iTunes. You can always go to the ESPN app and search in the Listen tab for Thompson and Trudell if you want to check us out. I want to get to this quickly before we close the show with Myked Up. Todd Gurley, this is from RamsWire.com, or RamsWireUSAToday.com. Todd Gurley believes that the offense should be built around Jared Goff. Okay, here is part of the quote that he said. It's not about me, Gurley explained. I texted Goff, and I said, it's your world. I'm just living in it. Whatever we run, I'll be happy with. It's fine. I feel like we have the talent during the game. We just have to put it together. Obviously, every year you lose people to the free agency. I'm pretty sure the coach will do a pretty good job during the draft, and hopefully those guys come in and work hard, and we get this thing going. All right. this is kind of in direct contrast to that whole report we heard about the receivers not showing up with Goff during the season and not wanting to work out with him. I think it has to do in some ways with the new influence of Sean McVay, who is basically saying to anybody, all these players, look, you better get on board with this quarterback. He's going to be the quarterback next year. He is the most important player, as the quarterback always is. Although I guess you could say Aaron Donald is, since he's like the second best player in the whole league, according to some of the football stats.
He's important, but the quarterback is it.
Yeah, no, I still agree. I'm just saying that Donald's the best player, but the most important, the most significant to wins and losses, probably starts at that quarterback position. Michael, do you think that the players are really going to come on board with Goff? And I ask this with some skepticism because you have to win their respect with your play and sort of your moxie in your leadership. Yeah. And I don't know how much of a chance we got to see that from Goff as a rookie.
No, we didn't see it last year, but once OTAs, off-season training activities start, but why don't they put an S in there? OSTA. Because off-season isn't a one word, right? It's two words, off-season.
No, it's one word.
Off-season is one word?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So you write it as one continuous word. Okay. Off-season. Okay, maybe you're right.
Pretty sure it's one word.
So, so once they show up, and once they see his leadership, of course, he's got to do it once the game starts. But they play, like Keyshawn would tell us, players know if this guy's got it or not. So that's up to Goff to show them that he is that guy. It's up to him. You can't tell him, you got to respect this guy. He's got to, he's in football, you got to earn it. Well, anything in life, you got to earn it. So if he shows that he's that guy, they'll follow him.
Yeah, look, it's a very much we'll see situation with Goff, and I hope that Rams coaching staff and Sean McVay can get things popping. All right, Funches and Steve, unless Jay's in there already, let's go ahead and get into Myked Up, guys. Now, before we get into Myked Up, even though you hear the music, I will tell you about OJ.
OJ, is he, he's up for parole. Is he getting out?
I don't think so, Michael.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I bet he will.
It's the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. OJ, Made in America, available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Check it out. It is great. Okay. I just mentioned the Los Angeles Rams. Well, we haven't talked about the Los Angeles Chargers in a while. They've just set ticket prices, apparently, Michael. Prices for season tickets will start at $70 and go to $375 for a wide area of locations. Of course, this is at the StubHub Center. The average price will be $192 for Chargers games, and about 11% of the tickets will be priced at $100 per seat. Opponents for the regular season games, of course, include the Eagles, the Redskins, the Bills, the Browns, the Dolphins, and then their AFC rivals, the Chiefs, Broncos, and Raiders.
Cowboys not coming, huh?
No Cowboys. The dates will be announced when the schedule is released in April. So, Michael, we can just, we can do a little math here. Okay, you're good at math, right?
Yeah, when it comes to adding, but when you start putting letters in place of the numbers, then you lose me.
All right, so I've got a family of 4, right? You have a family of 5. Let's say I want to take my family of 4 to a game. Average ticket price, $192 times 4 is $768. How much is it going to cost me to park?
I would say at StubHub Center, $50.
Okay, that is $818. How much is it going to cost me to get a couple of Cokes, maybe a little popcorn for the kids, maybe a hot dog, stuff like that?
That's another $50.
Okay, so we're up to $868. So for a family of 4 to go to one NFL game for a season, $868. What say you about whether or not that is worth the price?
It's definitely worth it. Put it this way: if you took your family away for the weekend, a couple of days, 3 nights, it's going to cost you that, right? So consider it you're taking your family on some kind of little weekend getaway or extravaganza or a little fun time. So it's the same thing. As opposed to leaving Friday afternoon to go Saturday and come back Sunday. It'll cost you the same amount of money. This way you just spend it all in one day. So it's the same thing. Having a weekend of fun with your boys and your wife is definitely worth it.
And look, you can $70 is the starting point, and so you can go for cheap for less than that. $70 70 times 4, $280, like whatever, 50 for parking. So, let's say in the $300 to $400 range to do it once. It is a great experience to me to go to a sporting event.
Yeah.
And so like I'm actually with you. I'm not on the side of things saying that yes, it is super expensive, but it's expensive to do almost anything now. It's expensive to go to the freaking movie theater.
How much does it cost to go to Disneyland? If you take your boys to Disneyland for the day.
Disneyland is very expensive. Now, you and I are fortunate as Disney employees where we get into Disneyland, but it is very expensive, of course, to do almost any entertainment activity. Yeah. And I do think that it's fun to go to a sporting event. The kids are going to love it. So I'm not poo-pooing it. It is certainly a financial investment, though, that you're going to have to make. All right, on to the next one.
Yes, and besides, it's better to take them to the game instead of take them to a place where you see imprisoned animals.
I know you're all of a sudden a big zoo anti-zoo guy, right?
Like the zoo. Poor animals.
Okay, well that's a whole other thing. Michael, have you prepared I
got some
question for us today?
Because we saw one of the great ones last night, and the great American centers. Out of 30 starters, how many are American starting centers can you name in the NBA, Trudell? Right on top of your head. Just because there are 30 starting centers in the NBA, only 13 are American starters. Like the American big man is slowly disappearing.
All right.
Like the Euros are taking over the center position.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
how many American starters can you name off the top of your head?
Dwight Howard.
Yep, obviously.
Let's see. Cody Zeller.
Yeah, or Plumlee. Well, either one works.
Plumlee. Yeah, Zeller when healthy usually usually starts in there. Hassan Whiteside.
Yep.
Are
you looking them up?
No, I'm not looking them up. I pulled up the standings, which is what you do and stuff like this. Let's see. So, Karl Anthony Towns count as an American? He plays for Team USA, even though he's from.
He's from.
He plays for the USA, so he's an American.
No, he doesn't. He plays for Dominica. He plays for the Dominican Republic because of his mother.
So. No, he played for the USA in the rookie sophomore game last year.
Yeah,
and moving forward, he's going to play for the USA.
Not yet. He has a petition the USA for the USA. He's got a petition it, and so far he has done because he said in a recent article.
He's from New Jersey.
He played for the Dominican and on a Dominican passport.
He's from Jersey.
I know, but since he chooses to play for the Dominican, I didn't count him.
All right. All right. So Andre Drummond.
Yep.
DeAndre.
Yep.
Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Greg Monroe comes off the bench, so that doesn't count.
No.
Wait, who? Yeah. Well, John Henson then, I guess.
John
so he's
Henson.
an American.
I got two for you. The Lopez twins.
Lopez brothers.
Yeah, the Lopez boys. Yep.
Tyson.
Yep. Tyson Chandler tonight, of course.
Tariq Black, the current starting center for the Lakers.
He doesn't count. He's
the starting center for the Lakers right now.
A couple of games.
Right now.
I didn't put him down.
Who's starting in center for the Lakers
tonight? It could be Zubac.
It
could be Zubac tonight.
All right, but
Luka's kind of like mixing them up.
Let's see.
So I didn't count him because he's not considered really a starter.
Okay. Right now, JaVale McGee is starting for the Warriors, even though Zaza's technically the starter.
You're missing 1, 2, 3 guys.
Oh, Miles Turner.
Yeah. Miles Turner, yeah. And one more you're missing who plays in Denver. Just the last one. Well, two more you're missing. You're missing 2.
Jokic starts at center now for the Nuggets.
Yeah, but that's true only because Plumlee hasn't been cleared yet. But Plumlee will start for
him. No, I don't think Plumlee is going to start.
You don't think so?
No, I think he'll come off the bench as the backup center, and he'll play like some minutes with Jokic. But
I was thinking they were going to start him there. All right, then you're missing one last American starting center. Black guy, tall. Give you some hints. From L.A. I knew you wouldn't get this one, Funches. Neither would you. Come on, Funches. Who is it? One last starting, the 13th starting American center in the NBA.
What team you play for?
Oh, if I told you that.
I've done all right here, right? I'm going to name all the starting centers.
Eastern Conference starting center. Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference. I'm looking at the standings right now.
And you still can't figure it out, Funches.
Well, no. Well, okay, so excuse me.
I've given you some hints. He's black. He's tall. He's an American. He plays in the Eastern Conference. What other hint can I give you? He's from L.A. He was the last.
Amir Johnson he's not a starting center.
Yeah, he's starting for the Celtics.
He doesn't start at center.
Who starts for him at center? He starts for him at center.
Al Horford technically starts at center.
Oh, Al Horford's the 4. Look it up.
He plays more like a 4.
Well,
but
Amir starts for him.
I still get. I want want my credit for that one.
You got it.
All right. That was a good little exercise, Michael. But now, do you want to name some of the Euro starters?
Jeez, I'd be here all day.
There's a lot of them. Well, I think there's more Americans, though.
No, still 17 foreign starters at center.
Gortat, Jokic,
Nurkic up in Portland.
Nurkic probably will start there, although he hasn't.
Yes. in Toronto, of course.
Yeah.
Go on and on.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right. We can go on. Okay.
Vucevic in Orlando or Biyombo.
Yeah. Clint Capella.
Yep.
On and on. Okay. Michael, just a sort of a general. Well, look. Okay. I guess we don't have full time to get into this as we go out. And Fudges, you'll give me the countdown there. So, looking ahead to tonight's game in Phoenix, where would you rank Booker amongst the young Lakers players?
If he was on this roster, he'd be the best. Man's averaging 20-something points a game. He's considered Phoenix's franchise player, so right now he'd be the best player of the young players on the Lakers.
So for this year in terms of production, he's certainly the best scorer out of the group.
You would have somebody ranked ahead of him?
No, I'm saying for long-term projection.
Long-term.
Not just this year. I mean, so Ingram is a better defensive player, certainly, than Booker. Booker does not play much D right now. And Booker is the better offensive player than Ingram right now. I think that if I had to pick between the two, because I think defense is so important, I would probably go a slight edge to Ingram. But I get the argument for Booker. I do really like him. I think that he and Russell right now are the 1 and the 2 young players that I would want.
Yeah.
And Ingram would be the 3, right after Ben Simmons probably, although we haven't seen him play yet.
Yeah, Simmons,
right. Yeah. So he's in the mix. So it should be fun tonight watching Booker and Russell and everybody. Thompson and Trudell is done for the day. Michael, we will have to save our fight talk for Floyd and Connor.
Going to get
tomorrow.
your hot dog?
It's Thompson and Trudell.
Going to get your hot dog?
Oh, yeah, baby. I need it. ESPN LA. Stephen A. coming up next.
The NBA All-Star Game this Sunday.
Here's Curry behind the back. Half-court heave on its way. And he hits it!
Coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.